she says, the first, this is the inner sound, and she's describing as to how we're going to hear it. And these are real sounds. She's not making this up. She had to go through it. All of the teachers, the spiritual teachers, go through these phases themselves. They know it. So they're guiding us so that we can find our true inner selves also. The first is like the nightingale's sweet voice chanting a song or parting to its mate. That's the first sound. And the analogy carries it on this way. The first sound is that gentle feeling of loss which comes to us when we begin to give up our beloved possessions of ideas and feelings. Remember, we're killing the lower aspects of our mind. This is a real test that we have to go through, each one of us. So this is the first phase, and believe me, it is real. The loss is real. It comes whether you ask it or not, and it will not leave you. The second, she says, comes as the sound of a silver symbol of the Dhyanis, awakening the twinkling stars. Twinkling stars, we're a stardust. Our inner soul is made of the starry dust of the Milky Way. We are in consubstantiality with it. We are made of the similar stuff, stardust. So then it is expressed this way. The second is that gentle sound which begins to help us to sense a fullness in the world, to half awake to the immensity of a space outside ourselves. Do you feel awe? I feel awe when I look at this here. I'm part of it, and I'm a small part of it in my mind, but there's no such thing. When you remove those conceptions, when you remove the conceptions, that's when you get to the real. Because we have these ideas in our heads, and we think that we really know, but we do not know that is it. We have to go to the abstract in order to know. And we're scared to do it. We hold on to our ideas, preconceptions, and biases, and whatever else we're fighting for, we hold on to it with a grip. We will not let go of it. So, the third, what's the third? The next is as the plaint melodious of the ocean sprite imprisoned in its shell. Go shh, shh. It's like coming through a shell. And it says the next is our cry to get out of our limited self or shelf. So this lower mind imprisons us, in other words. It's just like we're in this little shell, and shh, shh. We're trying to move ourselves out of it, but we're at the same time we're scared to let go. This is all we know. And where are we going to go if we let go? Nothingness. We're going to go to the edge, and we're going to jump, and we're scared to do it because we don't know what's on the other side of the edge. So this is very succinct what they're describing here. But it says, once we are free from that bounding shell, we become almost overcome as by the shrillness of the bamboo flute. There is no turning back. It fills us and often frightens us. What are we doing? We're moving outward. But when we have been able to let it play through us, we pass on to hear the next sound. What's the next sound? This is followed by the chant of Veena. It's like a lute. The fifth-like sound of a bamboo flute shrills in thine ear. This is like the trumpet blast, which is the prelude to the last. The last is like the rumbling of the thundercloud, which swallows all other sounds as the sound of the swelling and moving waves swallows all the other sounds in and around it. It absorbs us in itself. The last vibrates like the dull rumbling of a thundercloud. The seventh swallows all the other sounds. They die and then are heard no more. We have killed it, in other words. What has here been described to us, and what exactly has happened to us? The lower personality, then, which is the lower mind in conjunction with the passions and desires, have been killed. So, but we have been a part of them. These are our ideas, preconceptions, desires, passions. They have our own life force in them. Do we grieve when we lose them? We are told what to do. We must lay them at the feet of the master. Who's the master? The higher aspect of us is the master. This is the inner master that is in charge of all of our lives, from life to life, back and forth. So he is the knower. I'm just saying he because I don't know what else to say. It just does not sound correct for me to say it, so I call it he. But it really is that essence. Where does that essence come from, which is in each human heart? We just talked about the anahata. Where is that essence coming from? From the one. What one? One life. There is not many lives. It is very elusive to think that we're all different from one another. This is what we have to get rid of in order to get to the real. So they no longer are ours. They are a gift of our former self to those who would lead us onward to the great life itself. It is only when we have done this that we are free to do the master's bidding in fullness. For the self we knew has now been given up. It is no more. This is our lower personality, the one that constantly is fighting for life. What is that? That is called tanha, thirst for life. I'm giving you these terminologies because the vibratory rate of these words have significance in Sanskrit, because they adjust the inner nature according to the vibratory rate, and that is also real, okay? And it is not a matter of showing off. It is significant that they be introduced into our language. Not only that, in the future, this is the language we're all going to be speaking. There's going to be just one. Whether it be 1,000 years or 2,000 years or whatever, it will still be there. In London, actually, they're now having elementary school students learn Sanskrit. I was really shocked when I heard that. There are places that are actually introducing that language into the younger minds, because they found out that as you get older, it is extremely difficult to learn it, but that the young kids absorb it, no difficulty whatsoever. So it was very impressive. I think it's James College that introduced it in London. Anyway, so this is the process. So we have nothing left of the self, which is this intellectual lower mind with our preconceived ideas, whatever else we had in there. And what have we become then? Are we nothing? We have inserted ourselves into the one life. Okay, normally we put the circle here, and these are all souls. When you want to become one with it, you insert yourself into the circle itself. You become part of that one life. What happens? What's the change? We have become the vibrant world of life, part of that life. It is in our veins, obedient to our will, as our will is now the will of the whole. this is the first step. It is real. It has to be approached by every human being in this life or another. And had come across this explanation in a writing, and it said this, that in order for us to be able to be successful in the outcome, is that we must have perfect physical health, absolute mental and physical purity. This is what we're working for. It's not a one-step road. And please don't think that it is difficult, because once you put yourself in this path, it's just going to pull you across, because that's what you want to do. But first you have to want it. Unselfishness of purpose, universal charity, pity for all animate beings, truthfulness and unswerving faith in the law of karma, a courage undaunted in every emergency, even by peril to life, an intuitional perception of one's being the vehicle of the manifested Avalokiteshvara, or the divine Atman, or spirit, as we said, calm indifference for, but a just appreciation of everything that constitutes the objective and transitory world in its relation with and to the invisible region. Such, at least, she tells us, must be the recommendation of one aspiring to enter this path. Then goes on to tell us that all must have been more or less developed in the nature, in the inner nature, and it is unhelped exertions. In other words, we have to achieve this on our own before we are even noticed by anybody, so that they can help us. We have to try it so that our effort is noticed, and that other energies in the world who tend this way then come to our aid. If we don't try, well, we shall be at the same spot forever. If we try and we move forward, there is that possibility inherent. What are we? We're inherently perfect. So that possibility, inherent possibility, exists that we will become successful at it. What's the opposite of success in this regard? What would happen? Well, then it means that we would give in to what? Ambition, anger, envy, jealousy, fear, all of the worldly things that we are a part of, because this is our nature that we cultivated in the past. We're not just going to be able to, okay, I don't want you, now I'm done with you. It doesn't work that way. It's part of us, so it is that energy that we have to dissipate out of ourselves, so that it no longer is a hindrance for the divine mind to come in. What happens when the divine mind is active in us? It is a process, okay? Let's just, this explanation was given earlier, but I'm not sure if everyone was here and whether it is remembered. That there are cultivatable stages in our lives where we cultivate this mind. And we had said 1 to 7 age group develops the instinctual mind.